Welcome to A&B Jukebox Repair, your one-stop source for all jukebox repair service and replacement parts. My name is Bruce Wentworth, and I'm going to be your instructor today. And today's session is going to be a very important one. The discussion today is going to be on restoring the ability to conduct electrical current in your Rowe Record Molex plugs for Rowe Record jukebox models R84 through R94. What are the Molex plugs that we're going to be doing today? 80% of your jukebox has these Molex plugs, okay? They're flat, they have little slots on the bottom, okay? Little slots right there, and then they have, again, wires coming in through the back, all right? And they go into plugs that are in like a circuit board in the solid-state modules, which have headers that are soldered to the board. These are the headers. The headers have straight pins, okay? And when these straight pins go into a header like this, they mesh in and they go down like this, okay? And that's how they work. But the problem is, in the Rowe models R84 through R94, especially models 84 through 88, 50% of the jukeboxes are now having problems with these pins, okay? They're losing the ability to conduct current, okay, to the circuit boards. You might have the voltage. When you do a voltage check, it might measure the voltage, but the ability to conduct the current, you're losing. And we're going to talk about that now. And I'm going to show you through a diagram or two how it's done. And it looks like I might have lost my pencil already. Okay, I'll just grab another pencil here. Okay, we're going to go over to a diagram now. The plugs inside, the pins inside the plugs, just leave it there on there for a second. These are the pins that are inside the plugs, these pins here, okay? And they reflect on figure 2 here. So we're going to be looking at figure 2. Okay, this is the picture of what the pins look like, and this is the pins themselves. Okay? So this is the most standard pin using 80% of the Molex plugs, and this is the one that gives the most problems. And the reason being is these jukeboxes were originally designed to operate commercially in businesses for 10 years. And a lot of these jukeboxes now are 40 years old. And I predict if you're able to follow some of these procedures and doing this little maintenance procedure to your plugs, that these jukeboxes will last for 100 years. But most importantly, isn't it important to have your jukebox work efficiently and properly when you go to power it up? A lot of these jukeboxes now are intermittently working. That means they're not working all the time, or they're not functioning the way they should. To get this corrected and get your jukeboxes working properly, of course, you can have a service guy come to your house. But a lot of the times, again, some of the times they're not able to diagnose this, or they don't want to put the time into it. Or again, it could be costly. Do you want to put the time into doing this, paying someone to do it, or do you want to do it? Okay, here's the purpose. Here's the reasoning being. This is the connector pin here. This is the straight pin that comes in from the header. Okay, as you see, when the pin comes in, it hits this point right here. Okay, this is the top of the bend. I call it a TP, but this is the top of the bend. Well, over years, these pins been in your jukeboxes for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. When they heat up, they expand, and when they get cold, they retract. Okay, and by doing that constantly over the years, okay, they've weakened, they've bent down, you've lost the tension that these pins hold. Okay, that's not a big deal, and some of them have even cracked right here at this base point. It causes them to crack right about here, but most of them are just oxidized and they've lost their tension. So oxidized and lost their tension. So today we're going to show you how to clean these pins, restore that tension again, and to put them back into their original state and condition. Okay, you bring them back from 40 years to like a new condition. And how often would you do this to your jukebox? Basically, you would do it once every 10 years if you're in normal climate conditions where you have a climate controlled environment. If you're living in a climate like Florida or Texas along the Gulf, and it's really humid and gets really hot, and these pins get really oxidized, you're going to have to do this once every 5 years. So we're trying to save you money and expensive repairs on service calls by just taking the time for yourself to do this yourself. Okay, so now we're going to do a demonstration on what it's all about. And the nice thing about this, the tool you're going to use for extracting your pins, okay, is this basic mini screwdriver set you can buy on Amazon. Okay, you go on Amazon, and the main screwdriver you use for doing this procedure is a flathead, small 1.4 millimeter. So that's all you need, is a small screwdriver, flathead, 1.4 millimeter, that you can buy on Amazon for about $4.55. Okay, you get this whole set. The next thing you're going to use is like a nylon pad. Okay, this pad is like it's a fine grade aluminum oxide pad. I buy these from MSC Industrial Supply. I use these for backings a lot of times on my circuit boards too. So basically you're going to cut a couple strips. I'm just going to cut one strip today to show you, so I can show you the technique. That's we're going to cut about a 3/4 of an inch strip. Wide strip, and then you're going to cut this in half, so you have two pieces like this. That's what you're going to use. Okay, so the ability to extract your units now, we're going to use a 1.4 millimeter. We get this one out. Okay, we got the tool we're going to use. You got the screwdriver, and you got the pads. Okay, now we're going to be using this harness. This is one of the most problematic harnesses. This goes from, on the R84 through the R94, it goes from the mech control, P205, up to the central control computer. Again, P105 on the R84 through R80 models, and then I think it's P2 on the R89 to R94. So basically, each one of these plugs, okay, this one here has about 15, 16 wires, but you see the slots on the bottom, okay? And what that slot is, this pin here, this locking tab is where this slot is, okay? So this goes in, when this gets put in, this goes in with this part facing up in this way, and that little tab is going to be hitting this little slot as you push it in. That's what you call a locking tab. So when you push up on this little tab with a screwdriver, you're going to push into the slot, pushing up on this tab, like right here. You see this little slot. I'm going to push in now. Excuse me. Let me just push on this. Push in this, and now this is going to slide this up. So this little tab right here got pushed in right here. Okay, and now that's like that. So basically, now you have it out. What you're going to do now is you're just going to take your little nut pad and just clean the oxidation off of this pin. You're going to clean this one side and the very top where it hits against the pin. That's all you're going to do. That's all there is to it. The next thing you're going to do is bend this tab down. You have to stick in the bottom here, get the tab, and push it out like that, okay? Now you're going to re-bend up the TP, I call it, the angled piece that's been bent. You're going to reopen that up. You're going to pull it up like that. Don't worry about pulling it up too much, because what happens is when you reinsert it, it's going to reposition itself to where it's supposed to be. And you push it in till it locks in. You hear it snap, and then you pull back. Okay, we're going to do one more. We're going to do the brown wire, the next one next to it. Again, we're going to push on the bottom of the slot, which is the locking tab, which is that little tab down here, right down there. And now you're going to go ahead and clean the pin. This one's got more tarnish and oxidization on it. So it's going to clean it a little bit like this, so it's a little bit shiny. You got that done. Now you're going to go ahead and reopen it up, the locking tab first, because if you don't bend this locking tab out, it's not going to lock in when you push it in. It's just going to be loose. And then you bring back up the angled TP, up like that. Okay, now we're going to push it back in. Again, the tab is facing where the slot size is. Those tab that you pulled out is right there. So make sure when you line it up, you line it straight where the tab goes in like that. And then you can push it all the way till it locks in. And then pull back on it. If it doesn't come back, you know it's locked in. So that's all there is to it. So remember that this procedure is very important. 50% of the jukeboxes now are having intermitting problems because these pins have lost their tension. They've lost their ability to conduct current, and it's causing like an intermittent shorts where you're getting erratic behavior on the jukebox, or it's not functioning, or it's not functioning at all. that intermittent current or intermittent condition is going to cause the processor to malfunction. So you want to make sure, like I said, you rebend the tab up to give it back its tension, and the locking tab pull out when you go to before you insert the pin back in. Okay. Again, I can't emphasize the importance of this procedure. It's going to save you a lot of money and time in the future, and I'm hoping that when you do this procedure to your units, that you'll do this once every 10 years, once every 5 years. But before we close, I want to show you also what happens when you get a broken pin. Every so often, you're going to open one of these up, and you're going to find that the pin inside it's been cracked right here. So when you go to open up that bent piece, it's going to break off. If there's a crack in it, then that's causing like an intermittent short. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to replace that pin. Now I can sell you the pins, the connectors, and if you've got the ability to crimp it back onto the wire properly, then you can repair it yourself. Most people don't have the right crimping tool to do this, so I can sell you a section like this, a short 6-piece section that has the pin on it already crimped, and it has the wire spliced back where you can re-splice it onto yours, cut the wire, slice it back, and hopefully tie it in, and hopefully put a little solder on it, and then some electrical tape or shrink wrap to repair it. So that's how you would repair what you call a crack pin. All right. So right now I'm going to show you which plugs you want to do to restore your conductance in your plugs on your Rowe Record model jukeboxes, models R84 to R94. I'm going to pause for now. Okay, we're back. So the main harnesses you want to be concerned about right away, if you haven't done them before or whatever, is on the mechanism on the Rowe R84 to R94 is the mech harness that goes from the mech control board here on the bottom of the mech board. Okay, it goes underneath the jukebox, up the back wall, and into your computer. You want to remove your mechanism to take out this harness. Then you want to sit down on a bench and do it one at a time at a table, and do what I get that little screwdriver, flathead with the 1.4 millimeter, get some Scotch pad, and go ahead and clean each pin individually. And then, of course, we bend them up and out, up and out, up for the TP, out for the locking tab, and do it to each one. This might take you 45 minutes to an hour. But again, the main thing you need to have is patience, and you got to have decent eyesight. Okay, if your eyesight's bad, you're probably going to get a friend to help you, get your daughter, get your son, or a neighbor. Okay, you can do this. I mean, if you can unscrew a light bulb and we put one in, then you can do this procedure on cleaning these pins. Okay, spray clean is not going to do it. Now, okay, these pins need to be rejuvenated, restored. You need to restore the tension, and you got to make sure that that oxidation is fully clean by using that little Scotch pad to do it. Okay, the other parts you want to do on your jukebox is the other two plugs is here, P206 and 207 on your mech board. Okay, 206 and 207. Again, putting your mech on the table will make it so much easier for you to get at these pins and take your time. Again, each plug might take you 30 minutes, but in the long run, you don't have to do it all at once. You can do one harness one day, do the other two plugs another day, and again, it's going to save you so much money, and it's going to get your jukebox working nice and efficiently and properly again. The last one, of course, over here is the power supply. This plug here coming in the side. Now this one has all black wires. Yours doesn't. Yours has different color wires. This goes into the side of the board. These pins get really hot, some of them, and get really oxidized over the years. Some of them even get pitted. So you're not going to need to clean the pins in each one of these in this plug, and again, we bend them out, clean them, and relock them into that harness. Now this harness is inside the jukebox comes off the wall. So what you should do is remove the amplifier so you can get in there to have more room, and then go ahead and work on this plug. Again, this is another plug. It might take you 30 minutes or more to do. So altogether, the mech to CCC harness, the P206, 207 on your mech board, and the power supply harness, I estimate it's going to take you about 2.5 hours to do. So if you don't have the time to do it all in one day, spread it over 2 or 3 days. But if you want to get your jukebox working and you care about enjoying this jukebox for many years to come, then it is time that you're going to need to do this. I can only help so much when it comes to circuit boards. I can repair your circuit boards, but we're finding now 50% of the customers still have problems within their plugs. So it's up to you and me to work together to solve these problems. And I'm asking all those people that try this procedure now, not only to get your jukebox working, but to help other people. Work together and go onto these jukebox bulletin boards and tech sites and share your information on what you did to fix your jukebox. And if those that haven't fixed it and you still have problems, give me a call. I'll be happy to help you. My name is Bruce Wentworth from A&B Jukebox Repair. It's been a pleasure being with you today. We hope you join us again. Goodbye.